Hello, my name is Ethan, a sailor aboard the AJ Meerwald. In the last video, I went into detail about the most common sails you'll see. Today I'm going to talk about the other less commonly used sails. The first sail I want to talk about is a staysail, but in order to describe that properly, you need a bit more background knowledge. Stays are ropes or cables that hold the mast in place, like these guys here. Each mast usually has, at a minimum, 3 stays. One going forward into the headwick or into the mast in front of it, and 2 backstays going down to either side of the railing, always in a backwards angle. But wait, doesn't the ship have more stays than that? Yes, and that's where things get interesting. You see, each mast is actually made up of multiple masts stacked on top of each other. Each of these masts share a name with the sail that's on them. As you can see here, all 3 of these masts are actually 2. Unfortunately, that's not quite accurate because this would actually have anywhere to 5 or 6 separate masts on each one. So, stays are named after the mast they are attached to. For instance, a stay running from the main topgallant forward towards the main topsail would be known as a main topgallant stay. And the stay sail is named after the stay it's attached to. So this would be a main topgallant staysail. Now, let's move on to the headrig. A sail that you see on almost every boat is a jib. These are all jibs. Now, a jib is just a staysail that is in the headrig. Now, when you have more than one headsail, naming can get complicated. Commonly, if you have more than one headsail, that is, the innermost one is actually called a fore-topmast staysail. So it almost always runs to the fore-topmast. Then you have the next innermost one is called an inner jib, and the last one is an outer jib. Now, most boats have their own naming conventions, and that's one of the places where you see the biggest differences in names. Another type of headsail that you won't see very often is what's known as a spritsail. A spritsail is a square sail that goes under the bowsprit, like so, and comes out down here. Another even rarer sail is what's known as a sprit topsail. In order to have one, you have to have a sprit topmast, which goes up on the bowsprit like this, and then you have a sail coming out the front. It's almost always small, not very useful. The only one of these that I've ever seen is on the Nickel, which is a sailing ship out of Delaware. The last type of headsail is what's known as a spinnaker. This type of sail is almost only used on modern racing yachts. A spinnaker is very similar to a square sail, except it's up in the front. It will almost only be used when sailing downwind. It even has its own little yard called the spinnaker pole. The last sail for today is a stunsail. Stunsails, when there's little to no wind, and you want to catch every bit you can. In order to set one up, you set extra spars coming out each side of the mast, and you end up with little elephant ears on either side. Looks really silly, but they can be useful. This has been Ethan, and thank you for watching.